In this second lesson on shell chords or shell voicings, we're going to introduce you to fourth string voicings. Then we're going to mix everything together that you learned previously with the current stuff you'll learn here and have you play some progressions to really start working all of this knowledge. All right, so let's just get right to it. But wait, hit that red button down there in the corner to subscribe to Outsmart Your Guitar. Ring the notification bell to be notified when new material is posted, which is around once a week. Outsmart Your Guitar is also on Patreon. If you go over there, you can subscribe at one of two levels, getting a whole lot more material than is featured here on YouTube. And in subscribing and becoming a patron, you will support my efforts to continue providing you with See, now you know what you don't actually normally see when I mess things up. But yeah, you'll be helping support my efforts to provide you with high quality lesson material to help you learn, play, and grow to be the guitar player you desire to be, to play the music you love. Sound good? I hope so. All right, let's get on with the lesson. We'll be playing in the key of G for these examples just because. Now, the first chord here is a major 7. Normally you play a major 7 like so. But we have the 5 tone on the 3rd string at 7. We want to remove that and preserve the 1, the 3, which gives us our major information, the natural 3, and then the natural 7, helping us understand this is a major 7 voicing. Now, the next chord you'll notice is a dominant 7. So we take our 7 and we flatten it. Now, normally a dominant 7 4th string rooted chord would be played like this. Again, we remove the 5 tone information, and that leaves us with the 1, the natural 3, and the flat 7, the essential elements of a dominant 7 chord. Next, if we flatten the flat 7 one more half step down to a 6, we will have the 6th chord, the dominant 6. Now, normally a dominant 6 is played like this. But again, we remove the 5 tone information and we are left with the 1, the natural 3, and the 6th tone. Now, I've got it written out as a dominant 6, but a major 6 and a dominant 6 are quite literally spelled the same. It is context which dictates whether you call it major or dominant. Technically, it doesn't matter either way because the spelling is the same. Okay? The next chord, it kind of violates the rule of 3 different notes for shell voicings, but with a 1, a 5, and another 1, this is technically a 5 chord or a major chord, but it could also be a minor chord. We acknowledge that. But what this allows you to do is to play something really fundamental and allow another instrument like the keyboard or another guitar player to play the color tone, the 3 tone, or the flat 3 tone if it's a minor chord. Here, you just kind of hang out and have good time with it, right? Now, if you want to include and make it a major chord, well, you just move your little finger over to the 3 on the 1st string at 7. And you have a 1, natural 3, and 5. Here we retain the 5 tone. Now you'll notice I've also got major 7, dominant 7, and dominant 6 written out there because the 7, the flat 7, and the 6th tone are right there. This is part of that. Now, you're just playing the major chord here, so again, the keyboard or another guitar player could be covering the color tone information, and you're just playing the major chord because maybe you want to reinforce that element. It's up to you. You don't necessarily always have to play the color tone. You can leave that to another instrument. All right? So pause the video and walk through these and find the fingering that works best for you all the way around. And practice these. Start to get the memorization thing working for you. Okay? Then, when you're ready to continue, press play, and we'll move into some minor shell chord voicings. So, fourth string shell chord minor voicings. Minor 7 on the fourth string is usually done like so. All 4 fingers in play. But we don't want the 5 tone. So what are we left with? 1, the flat 3, which tells us it's a minor chord, and the flat 7, telling us at the very least we're playing a minor 7 chord. The next chord is a minor 6, so we take the flat 7 and flatten it 1/2 step again, which makes it a 6. Now normally a minor 6 is played like this off the 4th string root. But again, we want to get rid of the 5 tone information. And now we adjust our fingering. We have the 1, the flat 3 again, telling us it's a minor chord, and the 6. Now, as you may recall from the last lesson, a minor 6 is also part of the spelling of a diminished 7 chord. The only thing missing is the flat 5, which is right here. So a diminished chord right there. Get rid of the 5 tone. You're still technically playing a diminished 7. It just happens to have the same voice as a minor 6. But context will help make the difference more evident. All right, now a minor 7 flat 5. Okay, well normally a minor 7 flat 5 on the 4th string is played this way. So we have options here. We can get rid of the flat 7 tone and keep the flat 5 tone. The flat 5 is being called out here, so it's important to keep that. So let's play it 1, flat 3, and flat 5. Okay? Now, we can also jettison the flat 3 and bring the flat 7 back in. So 1, flat 5, flat 7 maybe sounds a little bit more focused, right? So there's another way to play the minor 7 flat 5. Now, if we go back to this voicing, we have also the essence of a diminished 7 chord. We're just leaving out the 6, right? So now this too can be a diminished 7 chord, as well as the minor 7 flat 5, because what you're playing, the 1, the flat 3, and the flat 5 are part of a diminished 7 chord. You're only lacking the double flat 7 or the 6 tone, right? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so pause the video, practice these voicings and the alternates I showed you, which are not written out, and start getting this clear in your head that these voicings sometimes have secondary identities. The minor 6 and the minor 7 flat 5 are also diminished 7 chords. Okay? Then, after you've done this for a little bit, started to get a memorization going, go ahead and press play and we'll keep going. Let's put these 4th string shell chords to work. You're going to play the F major scale using chords, and particularly 4th string rooted shell chords starting at the 3rd fret. So you're going to start with an F major 7 at the 3rd fret. Then you're going to move up to 5 for the G minor 7. Then you're going to play the A minor 7 at 7. You're going to play the B flat major 7 at 8. You're going to play the C dominant 7 at 10. the D minor 7 at 12, the E minor 7 at 14. You can alternately play the minor 7 flat 5 by just including the flat 5, and then play F major 7 at 15. So you'll get something like this. Pause the video, walk through this, get the chord shapes worked out before you play the progression. Then play through it a couple of times, start smoothing it out, and then bring in the metronome so that you can play it in time. And do it at a nice, easy pace, just like I did here. No hurry to get through it really quick. Then, after you've done this for a few minutes, and I mean play through this and get it really together, press play and we'll keep going. This next exercise is going to sound very familiar very quickly because it's the same exercise you played in lesson 1, we're just in a different key. Here we're in F, so you're going to start with an F6. Move to an F sharp diminished 7, G minor 7, G sharp diminished 7, A minor 7, back to an A flat 7, G minor 7, G flat 7, F6. And here's what you're going to go for. Pause the video, walk through these chords, and say them out loud. Put them in your mind. What are you playing? This will help your memorization as well. And then smooth out your flow, play the progression, get it smooth, and then put it to a metronome to further refine your motion, both your transitions between chords and just your timekeeping skills. And when you're ready to press forward after doing this for 5-6 times, press play and we will do just that. Pressing forward. For this exercise, we're going to really step it up a bit because now we're throwing everything you've learned to this point into the mix. All right, so we're starting up here at 12 with an A minor 7. Whoops, an A minor 7. Moving to a D7, a G major 7, G6, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, A diminished 7, G major 7, E minor 7, A minor 7, D7, G major 7. So you'll notice we're actually descending through this progression down the neck. All right, so here's what you're shooting for. pause the video, walk through the chord changes, taking note of your fingering, how best to make these changes. Then begin to play through this. Don't worry too much about timing. Just play through this nice and easy. Bring it into time. Start really getting it in time. And once you've got it fairly smooth, bring in the metronome to further get you all the way there. And don't worry about playing at the tempo I'm playing at. Play slower if you need to. I know these chords, so that's the difference. I can play it faster because I know the chords. Until you know the chords, you need to play slow. I also encourage you, again, call out the chords as you're playing them. This will help your memorization process and get that working as well. Then, after you've played through this a number of times, say for a few minutes actually, then go ahead and restart the video and we'll keep going. For this exercise, we're going to do a 2-5-1. And remember, the circled number is the string root. So a C minor 7 is rooted on the 6th string. The F7 is on the 5th string. And the B flat major 7 is on the 4th string. Now, the fun part comes to where else can you play your C minor 7, F7, and B flat major 7? Well, let's start really simple. You can play your C minor 7 here and the F7 here, but let's just move the B flat major 7 to the 6th string root, right? Now, where else can you play all three of these chords? Well, you've got a 5th string C minor 7 here, and you've got an F7 right here, and you got a B flat major 7 here, or here. Your choice. So you play through them and get comfortable playing each version of the progression using every permutation you can of a given chord. That's the challenge, all right? So pause the video and do this for 5 minutes. Really explore where all your 6th, 5th, and 4th string rooted versions of each of these chords lies on the fretboard and really work them out and call them out so you know what's what when you're playing it. You know it's a minor 7 and you know it's a C minor 7. The added benefit is if you know where the root is, you're actually going to be helping yourself learn the fretboard a little better as well. So do this again for about 5 minutes. Then when you're ready to move forward, press play and we'll do just that. Staying with the 2-5-1 idea, we're now going to change keys. We're going to start with E flat minor 7 rooted on the 5th string, A flat 7 rooted on the 4th string, and D flat major 7 rooted on the 6th string. Okay, pause the video, play through this, get it smooth, get it to the metronome, and then start exploring where all your E flat minor 7s are, all your A flat 7s are, and all your D flat major 7s are. And play this progression in all the different locations you can find them, further reinforcing where certain notes are, because you need to know where your root is, right? So you'll know where all your E flats are, and that's part of the cool thing here, the secondary nature of why you should do this exercise, moving this progression all over the fretboard in this key. All right, So do that for a while, 5 minutes. Then when you're ready to move forward, press play and we will press on. Let's now look at a 1-6-2-5 progression. Now we're starting with a 4th string root on the C major 7, 5th string root on the A minor 7, 6th string root on the D minor 7, 5th string root for the G7. Pause the video. The same rule applies here. Learn this progression as written. Then start finding all your C major 7s, A minor 7s, D minor 7s, and G7s wherever they live up and down the fretboard. Blend between the positions you find. Really just have a lot of fun jumping around, exploring where all these chords live. And then make sure you also use the metronome when you're playing through the progressions to help your timekeeping skills stay sharp. Okay? And so pause the video, go through this, spend about 7-10 minutes on this one, and really have a good time with it. And then when you're ready to continue, press play and we'll wrap things up for this lesson. All right, this was a pretty dense lesson because you got to now finally combine 6th, 5th, and 4th string rooted shell chords together to really start using them the way they're actually going to be used in the real world. So take your time here, particularly those last 3 exercises. Drill into the location of all the chords of those exercises. Where do they live up and down the fretboard so that you can take advantage of it? Further, say the names of the chords as you play them out loud, not in your head, but out loud. This makes it a see, say, hear exercise. You see the fingering, you say the name of the chord, and you hear the chord's sound. This further helps reinforce the memorization of chords. And without memorizing them, they're not particularly useful when you got to think about it. You want to get to that place of not having to think about it so that you can just play. And that's the whole goal, right? Okay, so take your time. No hurry to get to the next lesson, but it will be there when you're ready, as will I. We'll see you there.